best is good enough. That has been a popular phrase among Jamaicans for as long as I can remember. More often, though, it's being directed at a child. Well, today we're saying only your best is good enough. And we're talking about parents. It's Child Month. Has been now for 5 days. And if you haven't gotten the message yet,
parents, take responsibility. Break the cycle.
I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for making it the JIS.
Lift up your hearts with a smile. Lift up your feet with a dance. Lift up your spirits with a song. It's family time. It's family time. It's family time.
Good day, I'm Carleen Brown-Thompson, and this is your JIS News for Monday, May 5. There are still no reports of chikungunya cases in Jamaica, but the Health Ministry says it's continuing preparation activities as the virus spreads through other Caribbean nations. The virus is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which also spreads dengue fever, and there is no specific treatment or a vaccine for the disease. Director of Emergency Disaster Management and Special Services, Dr. Marion Bullock-Lucas, is urging Jamaicans to protect themselves from mosquito bites. At the same time, she says the Ministry of Health has been putting measures in place for more than 2 years in anticipation of the possibility of the chikungunya virus reaching our shores. Symptoms of chikungunya include high fever, headache, muscle pain, joint pain, mainly in the limbs and large joints, and a rash. Although it does not often result in death, joint pains and stiffness can last for months and even years. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says government is considering a number of suggestions coming out of the series of consultation with stakeholders on health financing,
including a contribution from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, motor vehicle accident insurance, and maximizing collection from private health insurance, among others.
While addressing a consultation in Mandeville, Dr. Ferguson said collecting from private health insurance providers was one of the matters to be urgently addressed.
I've encouraged the regions, I've met with the chairman and everybody to say, full speed ahead, get our insurance collection back up. We have met with insurance companies and they are on board with us.
Dr. Ferguson says access to increased financing can enable the country to better manage and operate the public health sector, improve equity, efficiency, and health outcomes. The Planning Institute of Jamaica will be boosting its community renewal program through more public-private partnerships. With help from the private sector, government will continue to target 100 of Jamaica's volatile communities in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and St. James.
What the Community Renewal Program seeks to do is to directly intervene in these communities to address the living conditions directly, change behavioral patterns among the residents, improve the physical environment, and transfer educational skills, employment opportunities, as among other things.
The finance minister was speaking at a recent corporate mingle forum. He said the development of communities would translate to a developed country with high levels of economic growth. The education sector is the main focus of Hurricane Preparedness Month being observed in May. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is leading the national observance under the theme, Disasters Are a Reality, Make Preparedness Your Responsibility. It's part of efforts to heighten the country's readiness for the Atlantic hurricane season, which begins on June 1 and ends November 30.
Top forecasters at the Colorado University has predicted for a very quiet season. But as we know, a quiet season is no reason for complacency, as it takes only one impact to devastate any country, its infrastructure, its economy, and by virtue of that, the life and ability of its people.
Due to children's vulnerability, schools will be particularly targeted to strengthen their preparedness and response mechanism. Businesses across Jamaica, particularly those within the education sector, are encouraged to participate in the preparedness activities during the week of May 12 to 16. ODPEM support staff will be visiting selected organizations to give safety talks and monitor preparedness activities. Other activities include the celebration of Hurricane Preparedness Day for schools on May 14. And finally, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller was among a large group of leaders and dignitaries bidding farewell to the late Professor Emeritus Norman Gervin at the University Chapel on Sunday. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson paid tribute to the late professor, saying he was a nationalist, an unflinching Caribbean regionalist, and intellectual apostle.
His rethinking of the Caribbean along cooperative and integrative lines helped to discover strengths and grounds for courage that extended to Latin America our sense of region and have intensified our people's demand for dignity and freedom from old models of tutelage and control.
Professor Gervin, who died on April 9, is survived by his wife and children. He was 72. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Caroline Brown-Thompson. Thanks for watching.
I went back to school today, thinking I would find lots of children. Yet, I found only a few. My only other company was dreams. Broken dreams, buried beneath the classroom floors. Dreams that periodically rose up like smoke to fill the benches, left vacant by their occasional users. I went to the playground, assured that children would be there, running around barefooted, hungry, yet their tummies will soon be filled with the joy of being a child. Yet, again I was disappointed to find the same precious few. Where have all the children gone? At last, I find them, lots of them. Children in nightclubs, on the street posted like flyers, boys smoking their grandfather's herbs, and chanting all kinds of foolish. Girls seducing their mothers' men, yet hoping to escape the vicious cycle of teen pregnancy. Let's stop kidding ourselves. These are children. These are little duppies that you and I have created, buried beneath the noise, the hype, screaming children, mourning for the fading joy of youth.
Parents, take your place. Talk to your child about sex.
We are placing special emphasis on education and training as part of the framework of activities to benefit our youth.
Clearly, the fate of Jamaica's young people featured prominently in Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's recent budget presentation. Jamaica Magazine reviews the presentation in full this Wednesday. But right now, Andrea Chisholm lays out a few of the major points in this week's Jamaica House Weekly.
Prime Minister announces measures to reduce the economic pressure on the poor and vulnerable, a call for the media to focus on development issues, and local football talent to benefit from Digicel Chelsea partnership. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Government has set aside $5.5 billion for social protection. In delivering her budget presentation on Tuesday, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller said this will help to protect the welfare of the nation's vulnerable. In addition, street people and the indigent are among 4 groups of persons to benefit from a $280 million social intervention allocation by the National Housing Trust.
The areas that will benefit are the improvement of infirmaries, assisting with the provision of shelter for street persons.
On the issue of jobs, the Prime Minister indicated that a total of 35,000 jobs would come from a number of initiatives, including the Jamaica Emergency Employment Program JEEP. At the same time, Mrs. Simpson-Miller reiterated the need for persons to support Jamaica's economic reform program, noting that the sacrifices were paying off.
The tough decisions we have taken and the painful adjustments, Mr. Speaker, we have had to make, they are bearing fruits. We are seeing encouraging signs.
Signs like a decline in the debt to GDP ratio and growth in sectors such as agriculture, tourism, construction and mining. Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner is calling on the media to educate the populace about development issues. The minister, who was speaking last Friday at the World Press Freedom Day Breakfast Forum, said every Jamaican needs to understand the issues confronting Caribbean nations.
They must know why we have to reduce the debt burden, why we must keep good fiscal balances, why we need to increase exports and build capacity. Seek to explain to our people the tough choices and challenges which they will face, no matter who is in power.
World Press Freedom Day, which was officially commemorated on Saturday, May 3, was held under the theme Reaching New Goals. Free media fortifies the post-2015 development agenda.
I'm happy to be here to be celebrating another landmark in Jamaica's sporting development.
Minister with responsibility for sport Natalie Nita Headley last Wednesday hailing a partnership between telecommunications firm Digicel and English football club Chelsea. Through the Digicel Kickstart Clinic, both entities will be working to develop young football talent so that Jamaica can lift its profile in the sport.
Initiatives such as these take the players to a higher level and build confidence in the ability of our sport programs to have immediate and meaningful impact.
Under the initiative, training was provided for 30 youth footballers, 3 of whom will be selected to train at Digicel's Academy in Barbados in October. Coaches from Chelsea will help to coordinate the event. Prime Minister Simpson-Miller is keeping tabs on the progress of the North-South Highway project. Last week, she met with the new president of China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, Mr. Lin Yi-chong. He told Mrs. Simpson-Miller that CHEC was working hard to meet the August 6th deadline for the opening of the Linstead to Monique leg of the North-South Highway. And the Prime Minister participated in the 6th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Association of Caribbean States in Mexico on Wednesday. Mrs. Simpson-Miller was accompanied by Foreign Affairs Minister Senator A.J. Nicholson. Jamaica and Mexico discussed initiatives to further strengthen cooperation in disaster risk management, connectivity in the region, trade development, and sustainable tourism. And back at Jamaica House, the administration welcomed foreign dignitaries and allies in support of key local initiatives. Prime Minister met with representatives of the TUI Travel PLC Group, a Spanish investor in Jamaica. Charisma Hotel and Resorts, which is part of the TUI Group, officially opened the first Sensatori Hotel in Negril, Westmoreland last week. Mrs. Simpson-Miller also entertained a representative from the United Nations Population Fund, as well as the Archbishop of the Orthodox Church in the Caribbean and Latin America. The minister with responsibility for sport, meanwhile, met with the Permanent Secretary and Sport Minister of Namibia. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next week for the latest from the Office of the Prime Minister.
Parents, we the children are the future, so give us a head start. Read to us. Reading makes it easier for us to talk with you and develop a bond. Reading is very important. It is the cornerstone of learning. Remember to tell every child, reading maketh a full man. So read and read all you can. Join a library or buy a book, and give it more than just a passing look. By bread alone man shall not live, but by the words of books he'll have much to give. Happy reading, everybody.
We celebrate their perseverance, resilience, service, and their entrepreneurship.
Want to know who they are? That gets revealed in about 6 minutes. Before that, parents are being encouraged to take responsibility for those with the future in their hands.
What about the children? To ignore is so easy.
Surely, parents must lead in the care, protection, and development of their children. They must take responsibility for their children.
So what about the children? Remember when we were children?
Every year in the month of May, the National Child Month Committee, the NCMC, shines a spotlight on Jamaica's children. This May, this Child Month, as we celebrate those with Jamaica's future in their hands, there is one simple message.
Parents, take responsibility. Break the cycle. Today, it would seem as if the responsibility of our parents to properly raise our children has been shifted to the schools, youth clubs, churches, and the state. We must all understand and accept that as parents, we are duty-bound to mold and train our children in the way they should grow. As parents, we must ensure that our children receive, at the very least, training in the social graces, building and maintaining interpersonal relationships, carrying out the household chores, showing regard for authority, taking responsibility for their actions, conflict resolution skills, just to name a few. When was the last time you attended a PTA meeting? Do you know the social group that influences your child? How often do you spend quality time with your children? When was the last time you had family devotion? Who inspires your child? Who is your child role model?
On Sunday, May 4, the National Child Month Committee kicked off its month-long calendar of events with a national church service at the Hampton Green Gospel Church. It was the start of greater things to come.
We will be highlighting and honoring students from non-traditional high schools or new high schools who have overcome great odds and achieved outstanding results in their CXC, GCE examinations. On this day, parents, teachers, guardians, adults, caregivers across the length and breadth of Jamaica are encouraged to celebrate our children by doing something special for them and with them. This is the day when we help our children to understand that it's not all about rights. Our children love to talk about their rights, but we have to constantly remind them that they do have responsibilities also. This is where the youth of the nation are given opportunity to exercise and to express their concerns about what is happening in our nation and the impact that it has on them.
What about the children? To ignore is so easy.
that it is our duty, our job, our assignment, our responsibility to show Jamaica's children how much we care by taking seriously our responsibilities to mold, shape, and create a future generation who will be an asset to Jamaica, land we love.
And who cared enough to show us where would we be today?
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we explore issues related to pensions, and joining me is Nicolette Hennes, Senior Director of Pensions at the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Nicolette.
Thank you, Nadine.
Nicolette, are there any pensions arrangements available for self-employed persons, contract employees, or persons in non-pensionable posts?
Yes. Persons who are not contributing to a pension plan established by their employer can apply for membership in an approved retirement scheme.
What are retirement schemes, and are they monitored and regulated by the FSC?
An approved retirement scheme is a pension arrangement established under trust, especially for the purpose of providing a pension for persons when they reach the age of retirement. These schemes must be approved by the Financial Services Commission. Retirement schemes can only be established by licensed insurance companies or investment managers.
What are the main features of a retirement scheme?
One of the main features of a retirement scheme is that it allows a person who is self-employed or not receiving a pension from their employer to save towards a pension. Another feature is that contributions must be made regularly. In fact, contributions must be made at least once a year. The contributions are accumulated over the lifetime of the individual, and on attaining retirement age, the accumulated balance is used to provide a pension.
Thank you, Nicolette. My guest today is Nicolette Hennes, Senior Director of Pensions at the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
The next step up from being a child? Did you say youth? If you did, you're right. And as you'll see next, many of Jamaica's own are proving that excellence and ingenuity have no age limit.
Outstanding achievements in academics, arts and culture, sports, leadership and entrepreneurship. Young Jamaicans are making their mark, presenting themselves as men and women prepared and empowered to transform a nation. Recipients of the 2014 Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence were recognized for their talent and the work they have put in to achieve impressive goals. In a ceremony at Jamaica House on April 6, 25 young persons ranging from ages 15 to 24 walked away with top honors from various categories. They were chosen from more than 40 nominees. In the category of arts and culture, Christina Williams and Kadeem Wilson got the nod.
I've teamed up with some very brilliant actors to do a program called Paper to Stage. You know, Paper to Stage is a literature workshop geared at putting the literature books from CXC on stage so students can understand it.
Theo Smith took the award for entrepreneurship, while 4 persons were recognized for international achievement. Farley Artwell, Kaisha Newman, Gavin Samuels, and John Powell.
My main contribution is through robotics and STEM education, that's science, technology, engineering and maths. Me and my team have been going across Jamaica. We are working through the Digital Yard Foundation, so we're getting access to high schools all across the island. The objective is to actually get students to develop an interest in science, technology, engineering and maths.
Young sportsmen and women were also hailed for their prowess on the field of play. Awards went to Javon Francis, Christina Harwood, Yannick Thompson, Martin Manley, and Yvonne Foster. In the category of Youth in Service, there were 5 recipients: Sedge Rowe, Lamar Rowe, Jamelia Crooks, Kadisha Croney, and Terrell Christian.
I'm so much involved in volunteerism. I started an annual health fair in my community, which is the Raytown community. So even throughout the Police Youth Club movement, I use this as a way to reach out to youth, motivate these youth, and show them that they can rise above these challenges.
Tijani Christian and Amorcard Brown were honored for their leadership skills. In the category of academics, the recipients were Abigail Allen, Everett Mosley, Nicholas Wright, and Shahir Gay Grant.
Some of the things that, drive us to achieve is actually being selfless, right? Not living for ourselves and, trying our best to, as we develop ourselves, help others.
In the youth work category, 2 organizations were recognized: the Youth Organization for Upliftment and the National Interschool Brigade.
I'm most proud of your determination to try when it gets difficult.
We celebrate their academic brilliance, their dedication to detail, their devotion to excellence, their creativity, and their courage. We celebrate their perseverance, resilience, service, and their entrepreneurship.
Achievement doesn't happen overnight or by accident. It requires hard work. The success of our nominees is a result of staying true to their mission by pushing themselves to do more than they did yesterday, when they felt like leaving it all later, overcoming self-doubt, and silencing the naysayers who tell them they cannot achieve their dreams.
These young people dared to be different. These are the young people who did not surrender to negative influences. They were not daunted by swimming upstream, and they were not distracted from their goals in life. They did not fear the tides and waves. Indeed, they were propelled by them.
Coming from rural and urban areas, these young people straddle all social and economic backgrounds, proving that regardless of circumstances, everyone can achieve their goals. With ambition and determination, the right thinking and actions, our youth can confront the negatives around them and turn them into positives.
Yes, there are challenges, and there will always be challenges. There is not a perfect world. But what I can guarantee you is that even if there are challenges, there are opportunities there that you can make a way out.
And as the Ministry of Youth and Culture works to improve those opportunities, the administration is staying the course, maintaining its focus on long-term goals.
The Vision 2030 statement guiding our national youth policy outlines our overarching goal. All young people in Jamaica are educated, empowered, confident, caring, responsible, healthy, and possess critical thinking skills to be innovative and globally competitive, while being respectful of diversity and the rights of self and others.
The Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence, celebrating the accomplishments of our nation's youth, inspiring a better tomorrow.
Here, unfortunately, is where we part ways today. It's been a pleasure. If you want to talk to us about anything in the program and the internet doesn't scare you, connect with us through our Twitter, Facebook, and email accounts. We're also streaming on YouTube and our very own website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams, encouraging you to make childcare and protection your mission in life. And throughout May, parents, embrace your responsibility. Train your children in the way they should grow, and rest assured, they will never depart from it. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.